Hey everybody, it's Brennan from Brooklyn Shooters, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about a camera that I've been pretty excited about. This is the Leica MD. I know a few of you guys are going to know kind of what this camera is, but for those of you that don't, this is pretty much a mix between a film camera and a new Leica M-P or M240. So it has brass top and bottom plates. It's got, the same new quiet shutter that's in the 2.62. But the big thing that it lacks is a rear screen. This camera has no rear screen. That means no chimping, no nothing. So effectively you're just shooting a film camera. Like, there's really no difference between shooting this and shooting, say, a Leica MA or an M3 or an M4 or any of the other M cameras that they've made up until this point. You got to think of this camera like that. I know there's a lot of chatter on the message boards and on different blogs about how this camera doesn't make sense to people and they don't know why anybody would want to buy a camera that doesn't have a rear screen. What professional is going to use this camera instead of buying, like a 5D Mark III or a 1DX or a D5? And the answer is no professional is really going to buy this camera for that kind of use. This camera, the way I have to think of it as is that it's just a personal work camera. You're only going to use this camera when you're not worried about, delivering work to clients or having a creative director over your shoulder, like looking at every single move that you make and want to see the image after the fact. It's just, this camera for a lot of film shooters is kind of the digital solution to their film problem if you're invested into the Leica system already. As long as you don't care about the medium of film, this camera pretty much comes as close to shooting film with a digital camera that you're ever going to get. I kind of applaud Leica for coming out and doing something like this. They did this with the monochrome, and it didn't make sense to a lot of people then, but look at what that camera's kind of done. It's kind of changed everybody's thought process on that camera versus an all-color camera. There are a few little gripes that I have about this camera, though. One is formatting the SD card. You can't really do it. The other little thing is, you can only set the date and time in the camera by using this top function button. You have to hold it down for like 12 seconds, and then you use this rear clicky wheel to change some stuff. But luckily, once you get it all set up, that's really all you have to do. And whenever you're looking through the viewfinder, the only things you're going to see are your arrows pointing about your exposure and your center point letting you know you have perfect exposure. Outside of that, you press the function button one time and I think your battery life remaining comes up, and then you press it again and it comes up with how many shots you have remaining on the card. Something else I want to kind of tell you guys about is there's going to be a lot of questions about whether the card's recording or things like that. Inside the viewfinder, you also have a little ERR to let you know if there's an error or something wrong with the card, or even if you have a card inserted. And also, whenever you take a picture, you'll notice this little red LED goes off, and that kind of lets you know that there is an image being recorded to the card. And that's pretty much it. I mean, this camera is pretty basic. I want to talk about a few other little things that I see. I hear people say, oh, just cover up your rear screen on your other one and you have a less expensive MD. That's not true, because all those other cameras have functions inside the camera that you need the LCD to work. In a lot of EVF cameras, you can just look through the EVF and change the menus and do all that other stuff that you could do on the rear screen anyways. So I find those arguments kind of invalid. I don't buy it. This camera is definitely expensive. Is it worth what you're paying for it? I think so. If you need a digital camera, you're tired of the film back end or the archiving or anything like that, this camera could make a lot of sense to a lot of people. People who have the older Leica film cameras and they just don't have time to do film anymore, they don't want to develop, they don't want to scan, they don't want to have to do any of that other stuff. They just want to shoot, take a digital file, but they want to have the same thought process whenever they're shooting. I think that's where this camera is really going to shine, is with street photographers, people who only shoot personal work. This is a good one camera to own, if you don't need a rear screen. So if there's any other questions you guys want answered about this camera, just put them below put the questions in the comments below, and I'll answer them, and maybe I'll even make a follow-up video, because I know, you know, it's kind of hard to cover everything in these short little review videos that we do. So like I said, just leave some questions in the comments below, and I will try and answer them with a follow-up video. Thanks for watching, guys. Oh, subscribe. We got some more cool stuff coming along later. Thanks.